My, 29 meters, wife, 28F, is pregnant, but I've found out she's been cheating on me on regular basis with a good friend, 29 meters, of ours. Okay, so it's only been a day since I made the original post, but there's been a new development. It's no longer entirely about whether should forgive her and more about where to go from here. I won't make any more updates unless asked or if something major happens. So I confronted my friend. He lives close to my parents' beach house, where I'm staying, so I invited him over to have a chat. Here is a quick sequence of events. So after some casual exchanges, I sat him down. I could tell he was confused, perhaps nervous, but he had a smugness about him. I wasn't looking my best, but I could tell he was thinking I looked tired. I sat him down. I'm gonna type in script format cause it's easier. I've had a few drinks. Me, house, wife / him, I don't know. Last time I saw her was at yours. Me, right, cause I know what gone on. I left it as open-ended as possible to see if he would confess to something I didn't already know. After some denial and feigned confusion, he finally makes his confession. Him, she told you we've been fucking? His words, not mine. Me, not in detail, but yes, that's why I'm here. Him, yeah, well, she wasn't lying. After that, I went on to ask him a series of questions that I regret asking, a bit of emotional self-harm I guess, but he was more than happy to answer, which was painfully off-putting. Things like, how often, when, where, among other more embarrassing things. I wish I didn't know the cause. Now it's playing in my mind like crazy and I'm a big fucking idiot. The one thing he denies with certainty is the child isn't his. I don't know why he's so sure, but I am inclined to believe him for some reason. Anyway, I want to give my baby the best life possible. I did everything right. I make money, I'm attractive, I work out, I treated my wife like the goddess I truly believed she was. All she had to do was let me love her and I would have given her and our child everything. We just bought a home. When she told me she was pregnant, I was over the moon, only to have this happen. After this encounter, my friend offered to hang out to make sure I was okay. We've been friends for years and knows I've suffered from mental health issues in the past, and he was being a good guy by looking out for me, but frankly I think he wanted to stay and drink all my booze whilst laughing in my face, been sleeping with my wife. I punched him. He said he deserved it and he left. I messaged my wife telling her I know the relationship was ongoing. She responded with let's talk about this in person. I said I didn't want to look at her. She didn't respond. Anyway, here's the advice part. Actually, I think the obvious step now is to leave her. I really don't want to. I know that's not what I'm supposed to say. I know I'm supposed to want to enact revenge and give her comeuppings, leave her out on her ass with nothing, but that's just not in me. I had a plan for my life, and that plan included her. I know people don't have an easy time online believing that things can be more than black and white. I thought she loved me. Those were the first words I'd hear from her every day. If she wasn't pregnant, I would leave, and I'm still considering leaving. I just want to know how to go about being a good father and ex-husband. Ideally, I'd gain main custody, but as we know, that's not usually easy for the guy. Financial support is an obvious one. Secondly, I want to know where to go from here. Do I see her in person? I don't want more details to cause what my friend told me is enough disgusting information to last me a traumatic lifetime. She currently in our home and I didn't plan for this because I fucking wasn't expecting this. No prenup, my parents are wealthy bohemian artist types, they will be no help emotionally. They were swingers for Christ's sake. I hate this. Too long didn't read. Turn out my friend and my wife have been sleeping together more often than just once. Typical. I want to leave, but I will. I want to be a good father to the child currently in her womb, which my friend insists is not him despite admitting to everything else. I've been intoxicated for what feels like 24 hours. I don't know where to go from here as I've never planned for a divorce. Update, I've gotten some consistent sleep and even though I've slept all day I feel rested. I've organized to see my wife. She said she will make us dinner and we will sit down and discuss what happens next. I know a lot of people have said not to see her or talk to her, but I have to know why. I also have to tell her I want a paternity test. I've really appreciated all the kindness and criticisms sent my way. I feel like I have a small community on my side which has helped me get through this in a healthier way. Perhaps it's been a distraction, but regardless, I've needed this. I want to keep everyone interested updated because it helps me feel heard. Thanks again. Update 2. so the dinner happened. She made my favorite meal. She was dressed up, but today I fucked up Lily. She was really trying to just make it hard for me. Upon entering the house I was excited to see her. I had spent the whole time in the car practicing what I was going to say and trying to think about all the fucked up things my friend told me to work myself up. But upon entering the house and smelling her cooking and perfume I was struggling. After she tried to greet me with a kiss but I nudged her off of me, she offered me a drink, which I accepted and I sat down at the table. She served me my food and sat down. We sat in silence for a bit whilst I ate. I hadn't eaten since finding out, so to my surprise I was able to get in a few bites before the anxiety of the situation got the best of me. I finished my drink and as she was making me another drink I finally said, "So why did you do it?" Her response at first was, "I don't know." This pissed me off. How could she not fucking know? So I repeated myself. This is when she seemed to open up a little more. Perhaps she could sense I was getting frustrated. She sat down and explained to me that she just felt trapped and she just needed something separate from me, in more detail, but that was the gist. She insisted she loved me but sometimes she needs a break from reality. I asked her if the baby was mine. She said yes. I asked her how she was certain and she said that my friend has had a vasectomy. I feel like that's something he would have told me, so I said I didn't believe her and I want a paternity test. She graciously agreed. Of course, she did. She's always been gracious and receptive to my ideas. After she agreed I asked if she was unhappy why didn't she talk to me. If she needed a break from reality I would have paid for a vacation or a spa week, or if she wanted to start a side hobby it's something I would have been in full support. As I was saying this I began to cry. She got up and cradled my head against her chest. This is where I fucked up. I just held her and cried as she comforted me. She lifted my head and started kissing me. I didn't push her off for a few minutes. I knew this was the last time I would have an intimate moment with her and I wanted to mourn her embrace. I snapped myself out of it after a while and stood up abruptly. I went to the bar and made myself one last drink and told her, after the test, we'd be getting a divorce. This is where she began to cry and kept telling me I had to be there for our baby and she won't be able to be the best mother she can be without having her strength. I am her strength apparently, by her side. After some back and forth I was about to leave but she said I should stay because I was drinking. So I did. I went to sleep in the guest room, but she insisted we just sleep in the same bed together for old time's sake. She tried to hold me in her sleep. I let her but I remained limp in her arms. Then as soon as the sun began to rise I snuck out. I'm back at the beach house. I called a lawyer. Last update. Kisses. I am back at my home. She is also here. We are not sleeping in the same room and no, I'm not taking her back. It'll just be easier to organize the divorce. It was my idea, not hers. We tried to have sex on my first day back. I couldn't make it work. Too many images of her and my friend. She seems to have accepted the divorce. She's pleaded a little and insists she loves me. Told her I still love her but can't forgive her. After that we haven't communicated much. I've been in contact with my lawyer. I'm meeting a girl tonight. I was not advised by my lawyer to see anyone during this time but I need this. I'm doing better. I had a dark moment where I thought of some dark things, but quickly snapped out of it once I thought of my potential child. I also am worth so much to so many people. I am ready to play human again. I really appreciate everyone checking in on me even days later. Things have moved so fast. I'm shocked at how quickly one's life can change. I received a drunken phone call from my friend and I have an idea of why he did what he did to me and it's no excuse and I don't forgive him, but the phone call is probably what pulled me out of the slump I was in. He basically admitted being resentful and envious of me, which was an ego boost at least. Thanks again to everyone. Too long didn't read. I nearly gave in to her, but I didn't. She said she needed something separate from me, which is why she cheated, and that the baby can't be my friend cause he's had a vasectomy. I told her I didn't believe her and wanted a paternity test anyway. We ended up sharing the same bed but I snuck out. She tried to convince me to stay. I've contacted a lawyer. Cut them both out of your life, seriously. They have no respect for you, and will continue to betray you. Contact a lawyer ASAP and get into therapy. Get a paternity test as well. They have been having an ongoing affair for years, at least 5 years. She fucked him the night before you guys got married. Let that sink in. Your wife and good friend have been deceiving you and fucking for 5 years. She has zero respect or love for you. Don't say you want to stay to give your baby a stable home. If you stay, it will not be a stable home with that vile woman in your life. Get some self-respect and start calling lawyers and demand a paternity test. I have decided I have to leave. Even if I don't want to, I will be getting a paternity test. I know she doesn't respect me. I'm shattered that whilst I thought everything was fine, she was fucking my friend in the home I wanted to raise a family. The one thing he denies with certainty is the child isn't his. He only denies it because if he's the father, then he's on the hook for the shit show your estranged wife's life is going to become forever. DNA test. I had a plan for my life, and that plan included her. I know people don't have an easy time online believing that things can be more than black and white. That, and you seem willing to let him pawn the kid off on you to save whatever semblance of your old hopes and dreams you can salvage of the relationship that's already destroyed. I've read thousands of cheater stories here and on other subs, and your wife isn't special. She's not different in any significant way than any other cheater I've read about and is far worse than the average. So I say with certainty you are going to doom yourself if you try to reconcile. You need a paternity test ASAP. Tell her any further communication is contingent upon a prenatal parent test. Also schedule individual therapy ASAP. You can't carry this by yourself. Most of us don't speak to protect the semblance of what we thought our partners were. Talk to someone. Don't keep her secrets. Cheaters abuse your silence and thrive in secrecy. She may have been sleeping around with other men. DNA test the baby and toss your STBXW to the curb. You can do prenatal DNA testing now. All you need is a blood draw from mom and from any potential father. They can extract baby's DNA from mom's bloodstream. I'm sure it costs $, but would be well worth it to find out before birth. I think you need to contact a lawyer. As far as your house and assists go, you should definitely get the baby's DNA tested. There is no sense in believing a word either of those two have said regarding whose child it is. If the baby is yours, you should fight for custody. Even if it is difficult to win, you could still at least get partial custody. I would say you should definitely leave your wife. If she's been unfaithful to you for so long, clearly she doesn't want to be with you because she loves you. She's financially stable and has a roof over her head while being with you, and her unfaithfulness has officially made her undeserving of such luxuries. I'm so sorry that this has happened to you, and I cannot say it enough. My heart breaks for you, and I wish there was more that I could give to help you heal in this process. Please do not forget to seek some type of help via counselor or a therapist to help you navigate through such an emotionally damaging situation. You deserve much better, and if you should post another update, I hope it's one about you being in a better situation with a happy ending. Please take care of yourself. My 30th boyfriend, 36M, is more interested in playtime than sexual intimacy. Edit. In thinking about this more, I realize that I haven't truly gotten to the root cause of why my boyfriend's sex drive has changed so drastically. He told me it's because he's more interested in other things. However, I realize now that this does not really answer the question. I need to find out what caused this shift in priorities. Perhaps he has just become more familiar with me and sees me as more of a roommate/friend. It stings to think about, but I will try to get to the bottom of it after work today before I jump to conclusions. In my field of work, we use something called the 5 whys. When you are wondering why something is happening, you ask yourself why 5 times, because once is typically not enough to truly get to the root cause. We'll try this tool tonight if he is ready to discuss. Original post: dating 2 years, living together for 1. When we met, we had sex nearly every day. Now I'm lucky if it's once every 3 weeks or so. He says he is still attracted to me, but he would always rather do other things. Notably, he does want to spend pretty much all of his time with me. He's like a golden retriever. He constantly wants to play, wrestle, tickle each other. He's so excited to show me movies or TV shows I haven't seen. He's cuddly and affectionate, but his affection is almost platonic. Like he loves to cuddle and kiss my cheek, but prefers to give me short, light pecks on the lips. I often ask for big kisses, but he does not like to give them. He doesn't touch my private parts unless I ask, and he quickly loses interest when he does. When I noticed our sexual intimacy dwindling, I tried a number of things. I went through a period of a couple months where I gave him long blowjobs, 30 minutes plus, like 4 times a week, hoping that it would up his sex drive. But he never lets me touch him sexually unless it's late at night. Then he says he's too tired to do anything for me. Skeptical, I sent him sexy pictures/videos. I touched him sexually throughout the day to get him in the mood. Nothing has worked. I honestly don't think he's selfish. The problem is that if I try to initiate anything in the middle of the day, it's obvious he doesn't want to because he was looking forward to some other activity. From the moment he wakes up, he pretty much has some idea in his head of what fun things he wants us to do together, and have sex just never makes the cut. I try to initiate very early in the day so he can work it into his schedule of playing video games together and watching movies, but it never works. Usually the conversation goes like this: me, hey, maybe we can have some sexy fun times after work? Wink wink. Him, looking obviously uncomfortable, maybe. But what about that movie we were going to watch? Enter negotiation phase. I'm already feeling pathetic and desperate as it's obvious to me he doesn't want to. Me, well, we don't need to have sex. Maybe we can just do some heavy petting during the movie and see where it goes. He'll continue to deflect and or give me half-hearted maybes, and possibly. Then it's 11:30 p.m. and time for bed. I just don't know how to break out of this cycle. I don't get how someone could be so into me, yet not into me. I have wondered if he's asexual, but like I said, we were very passionate in the beginning. He also masturbates frequently. Has anyone else experienced something like this? What are some tools or steps I could take to save this relationship? The lack of sex and obvious avoidance on his part are really taking a toll on my self-esteem. When we do have sex, it's amazing. I'm really into it, and he seems to be as well. I just don't understand. Frown. Too long didn't read. Boyfriend no longer interested in sex but still loves spending time with me. My mother-in-law, 68F, asked the wife and I, 35F, 37M, to use our house to host a large party for my father-in-law's 70th birthday. I declined, and now she's turning up the heat, turning my wife against me on this issue. Not sure how to ratchet this situation down. First, let me lay out the important factors. We have a small house. There's one small half bath downstairs, so small your legs hit the door when you're sitting on the toilet. The full bath is off of the bedroom. I'm not too keen on a bunch of people we don't know using our full bath throughout the day, especially when we're packing and don't have a great grasp on where everything will be. The party is scheduled for June 12th. We'll be moving to a place around 2 hours away 2 weeks after. Our house will be a mess, with boxes/etc. everywhere. Wife starts a new job on June 1st. I leave my job on June 11th, prepping for the move and to start a new job on July 1st. So, the conversation between my wife and Mill started via text yesterday. It was a small celebration of my Phil's 70th birthday. My wife got the details and asked me about it this morning. I told her I'd rather do it somewhere else because we'll be in the middle of the move, but if it was immediate family, they all know we're moving, so not a big deal. She told the Mill. The Mill said she wanted it to be a surprise, and then she asked if our church's fellowship hall would be more appropriate. That was a red flag to me. Why in the name of all that's good and decent would a small party need to be at a fellowship hall? So, I dug. And it turns out the Mill wants to throw a massive ass birthday party at our house 2 weeks before we move. When I found that out, I threw down a firm no because we have entirely too much going on to also be burdened with the amount of work that will come with allowing our house to be used for a party. It's never just the house / I pushed back, and now the Mill is trying to make me the bad guy for not giving in to this demand. Advice on dealing with the Mill and still treating the wife. This situation with grace. PS. 6 weeks until we are 2 hours away from all this nonsense. Can't wait.